Welcome to this video tutorial on coordinate geometry. In this video, I'll be solving few past paper questions with you guys. Now, this is question number 1. The diagram shows a rectangle ABCD. The point A is given to you and point C is given to you. The diagonal BD is parallel to the x-axis. In a rectangle, the property that we discussed in the previous video was that the diagonals share a common midpoint. Okay? So you need to explain why the y coordinate of D is 6. One thing is for sure that B and D will be having the same y coordinate because they lie on this horizontal line which is parallel to the x-axis. Now if you draw our diagonal from A to C, the midpoint will also be lying on this horizontal line. Okay, so if you can work out the coordinates of the midpoint, they would be 0 plus 12 over 2 minus 2 plus 14 upon 2, 6 comma 14 minus 2, 12 over 2, 6. So do you see the y coordinate of M is 6? If the y coordinate of M is 6, then the y coordinate of D is also 6. Alright, you can write y coordinate of D same as the y coordinate of the midpoint. The x coordinate of D is h. So we know that the x coordinate of D is h. Express the gradient of AD and CD in terms of h. The gradient of AD would be 6 minus 2 over h minus 0, so 8 over h. Gradient of CD would be 6 minus 14 over h minus 12. So this comes out to be minus 8 over h minus 12. One thing you can notice over here is that AD and CD are both perpendicular lines. In the next part, they are asking you to calculate the x coordinates of D and B. So x coordinates of D and B, right? X coordinate of D is h. So we need to form an equation in x that could be solved to find the coordinates of h. And if we know that AD and line CD are perpendicular, then the gradient product would be equal to minus 1. And from here, you can form the equation. So 8 over h times minus 8 over h minus 12 equals to minus 1. Yeah. So if you solve this equation, you get a quadratic equation in terms of h. And solving this quadratic equation will lead you towards two values of h. Clearly h is positive as per our diagram. Okay. Now in order to calculate the x coordinate of B, you can realize is that diagonal BD has a midpoint 6, 6. So x, which is the x coordinate of the point B, plus h, which is 16 over 2, is equal to the x coordinate of M, which is 6. So the value of x would come out to be minus 4. In the last part, you have been asked to calculate the area of triangle ABCD. What you can do is you can find the length AD and you can find the length CD and multiply it because it's a rectangle. Or you can also use, when you know all four coordinates, you can use the shoelace formula as well. But the convenient would be, in this case, would be to calculate the length of AD, which would be so h value is 16. So let me write h as 16 over here. So 8 square plus 16 square root is 8 root 5. You can now also calculate the length of CD. So h minus 12, which is 16 minus 12, the whole thing square, plus 6 minus 14, the whole thing square, 4 root 5, and the area of this rectangle would be length times the width. Hence you get 8 root 5 into 4 root 5 would be 160 unit square. So let's consider this question in which we have been given a line 4x plus ky equals to 20, and the line is passing these through 2 points. If a line is passing through A and B, then it must satisfy the coordinates. The coordinates must satisfy the equation of the line. So the line is given to you as 4x plus ky equals to 20. What you can do is you can plug in the values of x and y and find the unknowns out. So you can find the value of k from here. So k value is 3. Now when you know the value of k, your equation would become 4x plus 3y equals to 20. Then you can substitute this point. The x value is b, the y value is 2b, and from here you can easily work out the value of b, which is 6b plus 10b equals to 20. B is 2. In the second part, they are asking you to calculate the midpoint of AV. So the midpoint would be simply calculated by taking the average of the x coordinates and the average of the y coordinates. And from the previous part we know that b is 2. So the coordinates comes out to be 10 over to 5, 0. So in this question, you are being asked to find the coordinates of a point at which the perpendicular bisector of the line joining these 2 points meets the x-axis. It's very important for you guys to visualize this, what's happening. We have a line that is passing through 2, 7, let's say, and 10, 3. And the perpendicular bisector through the line joining through these 2 points. So a line, let me draw a line for you guys. So this is a line passing through these 2 points, and we have been given a perpendicular bisector. Now a perpendicular bisector is a line that will be passing through the midpoint of A and B, these 2 coordinates. So a line that is passing through the midpoint and intersecting the x-axis. So that's our midpoint, and it is crossing the x-axis at this point. We have to find this coordinate on the x-axis. So first of all, we need to find the midpoint of these 2 points. So you can take the average values. (6, -5) is the midpoint. Now in order to find this point, you need to form the equation of the perpendicular bisector, and for that you need a gradient. We know that this line and the perpendicular bisector are perpendicular to each other. Therefore the gradient product would be equal to -1. So let's find out the gradient of these 2 points. Let me call this point A and B for you. AB gradient would be 3 minus 7 over 10 minus 2 minus half. So if the gradient of AB is minus half, then the gradient of the perpendicular bisector would be 2, and equation of the perpendicular bisector would be y minus y1 equals to x minus x1. So now we will substitute the point M, which is 6, -5, y minus 5, the gradient is 2, x minus 6, and simplify this equation. We get y equals to 2x minus 7. That's the equation of the perpendicular bisector. We have been asked to find the coordinates where it crosses the x-axis. So a line when crossing the x-axis will have a y coordinate 0, and the x-axis coordinate would be 7, 2. So the coordinate is 7 over 2, 0. In this question, a trapezium have been given to you, and AB, line AB is parallel to DC. So we know that parallel lines have same gradient. And angle BAD is 90 degree. The coordinates A, B, C are given to you as these. You need to find the equation of AD. Equation of AD, you would require a gradient of AD and a point. So AD is perpendicular to AB, right? So first of all, calculate the gradient of AB, which will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 minus 3. Therefore, the gradient of AD would be negative reciprocal of minus 3, hence simply 1 over 3. Now you already have a point of A, which is 2, 6. You can form the equation of AD. One over 3 x minus 2, 3y minus 18 x minus 2. That's your equation for AD. In the next part, they are saying find by calculation the coordinates of D. You need to find this coordinate. Now this coordinate D is the intersection of line AD and line CD. So equation, we already have equation of AD with us. We need to find equation of CD. So equation of CD, we know that the gradients of AB and CD would be equal. So gradient of CD is same as gradient of AB, which is minus 3, and it's passing through 8, 3. So equation of CD would be that's your equation for CD. Now D is the intersection point of the line AD and CD, so all you need to do is solve the two equations simultaneously, and this gives you x coordinate, x value as 13 over 2 and y value as 15 over 2 after you have solved this simultaneously. So the coordinates of D can be written as 6 whole 1 over 2 comma 7 whole 1 over 2. So that's for the coordinates of D. And the last part, for the last part, they are saying the point E is such that ABCD is a parallelogram. So A, B, C, E, E should be somewhere where it forms a parallelogram. So E would be somewhere over here, such that A, B, C, E is a parallelogram. Now parallelogram, for the parallel, and you are being asked to find the length of BE. So you can find the midpoint of AC first, because the midpoint of the diagonals AC and BE would be same. So find the midpoint of AC, 2 plus 8 over 2, 6 plus 3 over 2. So you get 5 and 9 over 2. So if you know the midpoint, if you know the coordinates of D, you can find the coordinates of E. And so for coordinate E, let's say coordinate E are x comma y. So x plus 5 over 2 and x plus 5 over 2 would be equal to 5, and y minus 3 over 2 would be equal to 9 over 2. So x comes out to be 5 and y comes out to be 12. So E's coordinate are 5, 12, and then you can apply the distance formula. The distance or the length of BE would be square root 5 minus 5 the whole thing square plus 12 minus 3, 12 plus 3 the whole thing square, and if you work out you will get PE as 15 units. Alright, in this question the diagram shows 3 points A, B, C. The point X lies on AB and CX is perpendicular to AB. So CX can be seen perpendicular to AB. Find by calculation the coordinates of X. This is your coordinate of X, and this line CX is not a perpendicular bisector. If this would have been a perpendicular bisector, then only X would have been a midpoint. So you need to evaluate X coordinate. So let's find, the thought process should be find the equation of AB, find the equation of this perpendicular line CX, and X is the intersection point. So gradient of AB, 6 minus 14 over 14 minus 2, minus 2 over 3. So equation of AB would be y minus y1 equals to m x minus x1. (46) 3y plus 2x equals to 46. That's the equation of AB, and we know that CX is perpendicular to AB, therefore the gradient of CX would be a negative reciprocal of the gradient, so it would be 3 over 2, and equation of CX would be y minus y1 m x minus x1. 2y minus 4 equals 3x minus 21. That's your equation for Cx. If you solve them simultaneously, you will get the coordinates of x, which are, let's solve them simultaneously. So x coordinates come out to be 11, 8. So these are the x coordinates. Then we are asked to find the ratio of Ax is to xb. So this is Ax and this is xb. We do have the coordinates of x as 11. All you can do is apply the distance formula. So Ax is to xb. The distance, the length of Ax could be calculated by x coordinates are 11, 8. So this would be x2 minus x1 the whole thing square plus y2 minus y1 the whole thing square. x2 minus x1 the whole thing square plus y2 minus y1 the whole thing square. So 117, square root of 117 is 3 root 13 and root 13. So the ratio comes out to be 3:1. That's your answer for the ratio of Ax is to xb. Alright, so the point in this question, the point R is the reflection of this point in the line y equals to 3y plus 2x equals to 33. You need to find the coordinates of R. So let's have a discussion about this line. If I write it this in this form, y equals to mx plus c, all you notice is so this line have a gradient of minus 2 over 3 and y-intercept of 11. So basically this is a line with a decreasing negative gradient. Minus 1 over 3 is this point, for example, and the reflection of this point would equally be apart over here such that the distance between this point and R and this point and minus 1 comma 3 is same. So this and these 2 points are same. These the length of the 2 segments are same, which further means that this point becomes the midpoint. So your strategy should be this line is your perpendicular bisector, and it is passing through the midpoint. See, the gradient of this perpendicular bisector would be the negative reciprocal of this line. Alright, so the gradient of the perpendicular bisector is minus 2 over 3. Therefore, if I call this point A, the gradient of AR would be 3 over 2. Alright, if you want to form the equation of the line, equation of AR would be y minus y1 is equals to m x minus x1 Alright, so this is the equation of AR. Now you have the equation of AR, you also have the equation of the perpendicular bisector. You know that these two equations are intersecting at point M. So you can solve them simultaneously and get the coordinates of M. So let me solve it simultaneously. Three comma 9. So M has a coordinate of 3 comma 9. Now you know that M serves as a midpoint of the line AR. So in order to find the coordinates of R, x minus 1 over 2 would be equal to the x coordinate of M, and y plus 3 over 2 would be equal to the y coordinate of M. So simplify this out and you will get the coordinates of x coordinate of R as 7 and y as 15. So R's coordinates are 7 comma 15. Thank you for watching this video tutorial. I hope this was helpful for all of you.